Hello fellow horror geeks, and welcome to entry number 4 of 100 Days of Horror. And we continue with the folk horror kick that I'm currently on, both after watching Midsummer. And for upcoming podcast episode of City of Geek, I'm watching a lot of that, reading a lot of that. We continue with Ben Wheatley's 2011 film Kill Blank, actually Kill List. The premise finds a hitman who's been out of work about 8 months. He's really struggling with his wife and kid, trying to survive as he gets through the physical and emotional issue. Whatever happened back in Kiev 8 months ago is now reaching the end of his tether when he gets a new assignment from his friend who does jobs with him. And they go on the kill list of the 3 different people in order to kind of get him back into the groove. Now he has nothing else to do. And of course, this is a Ben Wheatley movie, so weird stuff happens along the way. And the movie that we start with here is not the movie we finish with. I haven't seen Sightseers, but nearly everything else from his catalog does have that big twist and the weirdness and all sorts. You feel uncomfortable whenever you're watching. Whether it be High Rise, which I freaking love. I know it's a divisive movie, but I absolutely loved every second of it. Field in England is a masterpiece of weird cinema, also a folk horror. And even his episode of Doctor Who Into the Dalek makes some big turns. One of the main characters from that is in here. He's actually in most of Ben Wheatley's movies. I've seen him as recognizable, I guess, Lucky Charm maybe for Ben. Before we get further, I do want to note that Ben Wheatley also wrote this movie with Amy Jump. He directed it, and they edited it together with somebody else. So he's very involved with his films in this case. I think nearly everything he does is his own writing with someone else sometimes, and his directing. So he's someone who's in control of his craft and in control of the films he wants to make. These oddball, disturbing, weird movies that don't always follow conventions in good ways that can be really off-putting to many people. That can be very off-putting for many people when I look up reviews, and especially user reviews after watching his film. People are like, what the hell was that? I don't know what's going on, and it made some turns I wasn't expecting, and fuck it, this movie's awful. That's what I felt a lot of people talked about with High Rise. I do understand the legit criticisms between that, but that movie has hit me right in the right place. I love that. I love J.G. Ballard's book, but that's a different review. It's a movie I've already seen, so I can't talk about that here, right? And like many of his other films, I found this to be absolutely brilliant. In a completely different way than I found for High Rise or Field of England. I like the slow build of what's going on here is like immediately this is a cult movie or this is a folk horror thing. There's a symbol that you see early on that someone puts on something, and you feel something is weird, and even the characters know that something is different with this assignment, but they start to get more perturbed as things go along. And I liked how they started to react to things, both in subtle and direct ways. They get more violent as the movie goes on, as they get through each of these people, but the people aren't acting the same way that you normally expect for people who now know they're about to get killed by a hitman. And there's all feels like there's more stuff that we can see, and starts to kind of come in a little bit from that darkness until we get to the last 20 minutes, and everything it comes to a head, turns that head on its side, and just blows you away. The last ending was so incredibly disturbing. The ending was disturbing. That's one thing I do enjoy about folk horror and pagan horror, stuff like that, is you get this weird imagery that this kind of feels off. A lot of this had to do with the score, which is this wonderfully discordant score that makes you feel uncomfortable as you're watching it. And of course, it's not to say that that so-called pagan rituals are wrong in any way in regular life, or witchcraft, anything like that. Just how they're treated in movies. You get just designs that look, it's different than what you expect. And when you look into different things, it's less of jump scares and this and that, but making you feel uneasy. And the best folk horror does that. It makes you feel off, makes you feel something you can't control is influencing you in a different way as you get deeper in this, and you kind of feel there's no way out. And that's something we'll talk about on the podcast when we get there. Something we could relate to these other movies, to other folk horror movies that I've seen that don't relate to this. But Ben Wheatley, I think, is a master filmmaker. But everything I've seen so far from Ben Wheatley, I love. I love the characters here. It's really darkly funny, but also still has a lot of heart for Hitman. I guess I felt for the family, so it's really well done that way. Everything felt natural for a weird movie to follow into. I enjoyed the changes that the main character went through as he started to be affected by everything else. He's starting to reawaken his violent era, and the dynamic with his family was great. But yeah, Kill List is a really great film that I recommend you check out if you're anyway interested in psychological horror films that get into cult stuff, but not direct in that way, like a slow build that falls into that pit. Soon you're slipping and you realize you can't get out, and that's what made it work for me. I know Robin Lindsay was waiting to hear what I had to say about that, so Robin, I loved it. So I hope you say you're gonna put praise on there, so there you are. There's my praise, and I look forward to seeing what your praise is when you check us out. But so you can check us out. Go to 100 Days of Horror on Facebook or cityofgeek.com. It's a linked page currently as I do these, and also this continuous series on YouTube. But it's not just me; it's dozens of people working on it. So we'll see you next time at 100 Days of Horror for day 5. It's gonna be the 1995 version of The Ring.